Welcome back to CCRPG. We left off last with, an interesting situation. Steve's in jail because he was okay with being in jail, I guess, kind of. He's also a triple or quadruple agent, depending on how much you know about the story currently. And then also Astro and the rest of the team got hired successfully. But also there was a transponder in Astro's mech. So, we got a lot of things going on right now. Things are up in the air.
It's a whole
complicated situation.
It's complicated. Relationship status with Lancer, it's complicated. Let's clear some of that up right now. The episode starts just, an hour or two after Astro had called the meeting with everyone to, give you all an idea of what's going on. Repair work on the mech has happened. You found that transponder in, what is it called? The Final Cut now or something? What's your mech's name?
Mise en scène.
Mise en scène. So you found the transponder and the mise en scène. Is there any wonder why I don't remember the names of your mechs?
Hey, mine's Tweety Bird, so come on.
Hey, you remembered the director's cut, so.
Did I?
My mech names just get more and more pretentious each time I get a new mech.
Well, you have to give the mech a name that your NHP would appreciate, okay?
Make them feel at home.
Kubrick would definitely appreciate mise en scène.
So, it is a few hours into the repair work. You're getting the data packages put together from the data that Artemis had put together from what was causing her to freak out slightly. So you guys have been working on this for a little while. When Astro, you get a notification that there is a secure call coming in, waiting for you from Ethic.
I've been waiting for this call. Okay, I will take it.
Where?
Let's take it in my. Let's take it in the on the bridge.
Okay, so you head up to the bridge. Is anyone accompanying Astro, or are you all still working on the things you're working on?
I mean, if Astro tells us the meeting is happening, sure, I'll come.
I'll direct it to the bridge and quickly send out a message on the intercom. If anyone's interested.
Well, they're both within 20 feet of you.
Oh, okay.
Because you're both working in your mechs, and Evelene is working on repairing those same mechs. You're all in the hangar together.
He sends it over the intercom. I look over at Astro and I go, I'm right here.
See, I needed the mise en scène to be explained to me. Now I know.
I like that a lot better, just like Astro notifying us.
Now I know where all the actors are on the stage. All right. So I'll just say... I'll say, oh, that's epic. I'm going to go take this up on the bridge if anyone is interested in joining the conversation. And I'll head up.
Yeah,
there.
I'll head up.
Yeah, I'm coming.
All right. So you all assemble on the bridge. Curry stays behind. He has some work to do. After you guys kind of deplete munitions and work and stuff, he reorganizes behind you as you're repairing the mechs to make space more efficient. So he's working on doing that now. Jessica is already up here at the operations seat. She's been working on a few things. When you come in, she kind of looks up and just kind of acknowledges you and says, got the call right here for you, boss. It's ready to go up when you're ready for it.
All right, great. On screen.
All right. She sends it to the main screen. All four of you in the room can see it. And it is Ethic, who is on the other side of the screen. She goes, hello. Well, looks like things mostly worked out.
Yeah, I would say not exactly in the way we hope, but something we could work with, I think.
I hope you'll understand I couldn't be 100% on your side in that meeting, or I might have betrayed some things, so I had to kind of just play the facts.
No need to explain. I got it.
Well, we ended up in the situation we were planning for, which is you're here, you have access to E2705, and we can start moving you around without raising suspicion.
Yes.
About suspicion. We found a transponder installed on Astro's mech. It might have been done during preparations of the first...
transponder?
During the last mission. So, like, when they were getting the mock data set up.
You think they had a transponder hidden in Astro's mech during CERT? Huh.
It's the only...
That's our best guess.
Yeah.
We had a guard with our mechs at all times, except during the certification process.
Then I'll follow up on it. I mean, your guess is as good as mine, and if you think that's the most likely time, I'll see what resources I can pull to look into it. I mean, unless you tell me otherwise, I'd rather look into this discreetly without alerting the other council members. But if you want me to use their resources and you don't care if they know, I can probably make this go faster.
No, by all means, let's play it safe. Look into it discreetly for now.
Yeah, that was my inclination. I just wanted to make sure how much of a fire this is to you.
It's more of an FYI, and investigate it on your end. The one thing we were toying around with is it's still running right now. We removed it from the Mac, but we didn't turn it off.
Oh, great idea.
We're considering either just leave it running and then move it with us when we do missions, or two, just jettison and see who goes after it. I'm kind of the fan of the former.
It depends on what we want to use it for. If we're just trying to see who did it, well, that's one kettle of fish. And if we find out who did it, then we might have a different hand to play. If we know it was one of the council members who ordered it to be installed versus one of your competitors versus the rebels, if we know what faction did it, we can make different choices about its deployment.
Yeah, you're right. Best thing for us to do is just sit on it for now.
I'd recommend let's try and find out who did it first and then see if we can use it in some way. But if we run out of options and have no way to figure out who did it, then yeah, maybe we just use it as bait and see who falls for the lure.
All right. Then, Astro, what I'm going to do is, after this, I'm going to put it back on your mech, just so that, we don't forget about it. So, if we do go out, no one is alerted to something weird happening with the transponder.
Okay.
Are you sure it's safe to let it know where you're going at all times?
Yeah, I was going to say there may be some missions where we pointedly do not want to transpond our location.
I guess.
As long as it's on the ship, they'll just think we're on the ship with our mechs. And probably that's the best thing.
Well, consider this. If it's one of the council members who put it on there, they're going to know about the missions anyway. So as soon as they see that we went out without the transponder, they're going to know that we discovered it.
Let's decide when we are actually deployed. Because we may be running some missions here for Ethic that the council members don't know about.
Maybe just keep me in the loop on anything that needs done, and I will do the same. And then we can make our decisions in the full light of knowledge.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Back to the matter at hand. So I'm pleased we won the contract under you. I do worry about how Steve is going to handle this situation he's in.
Yeah, it is not something I had planned on, and it does put us all in a precarious situation. We're not exactly the enemies of these rebels, but also, I don't know, it gets complicated real quick.
It does. I didn't want to provide information that could be used against the rebels, especially if it provides a great advantage over them. But I also don't know how we can proceed without feeding legitimate information to them.
We may just have to feed legitimate information. I said this at the beginning of the mission, and I'll reiterate it now. While I feel for these people and what is being done here is an injustice, I'm looking at the wider view, and there are many, many places and planets and outposts and stations that all could benefit from any information I'm able to find here, and burning my identity is not worth this. And it makes me feel real dirty to say it, but it has to be said.
Yeah, there's no way to go about this without sacrificing some of our values, I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, the advantage to feeding them legitimate information is that we can control exactly what information it is that they get. So we'll be at least aware of what it is that they know.
We can keep the fires to a minimum. That's good, at least. I don't think we should anytime soon feed them all their leaders on a platter, but we have to make sure they feel like they're getting a win, or they'll think we're not doing our jobs.
And is the council telling the truth when they say they promise to release Steve at the end of all of this?
Oh, yes. They need to. Part of the goal is to get him integrated with their networks. I mean, there's a certain amount that the people in lockup probably know that Steve can get out of them, but the goal is to get his credibility to a point where he can maybe meet with some of their leaders. And let's hope he puts on a good game face while he's in there.
Is there anything you're aware of that the council, or maybe more specifically Nosla, is holding back from us?
Nosla's always holding back things from everyone. She looks off, like, wistfully off to the side. Like, there's an odd expression on her face.
Well, I guess if you hear anything, you'll let us know.
Yeah, I'll try to keep an eye out, but ours is a strained relationship.
Well, Steve is a skilled operative. I trust him, so we'll get the job done.
He's got a good head on his shoulders.
I have no doubt.
And what's going on with Grime?
I think that he is interfering with things, either selling information or trading it to people. We've stopped giving him all of our credible info, but we do have to play politics a little bit. He is still considered the governor of the sector, and unless we have bulletproof evidence against him, we can't get him deposed. And that would require us working with CorSec and the core government to have him removed. And honestly, I have never gotten so much pushback from the others on the council than suggesting we tell CorSec anything. They seem very, very secretive about it.
Yeah, we've seen that before, that they definitely don't want CorSec involved.
I can't imagine why, other than corporate politics. I mean, the Big Six are the Big Six for a reason, but I don't know why these three are so opposed to CorSec getting involved in Project Rebirth.
I don't know either.
Well, hopefully that's a thing we can get you to figure out for us. That's part of the reason you're here. Remember, we need to figure out what is going on here.
Yes. So, how do we proceed?
Unfortunately, to get some more operational freedom is going to require staying under the radar for a little while. you being suspected in this way has put a lot of heat on your shoulders. And even with me in operational control of your group, I don't think the other council members are going to stop looking into your activities until they feel satisfied with the work you're doing. So I don't think I'm going to be able to sneak you off to do any of my personal investigations until we at least show on paper that you're towing the corporate line.
That's fair. I have to say, I consider it a minor miracle you were able to pry us away from Nazla anyway.
She was very excited about the idea of having her spies root out the rebels.
And needless to say, she's still going to be involved.
Yes, she will still be involved, but she can be manipulated.
Well, very good. When do you have any sense of when Steve can receive visitors?
Well, he's going in today. It will at least not be until tomorrow. They need to get him. They need to go through introductions, get him acclimated to his new environment. I'm not going to lie to you, I don't envy him. They will have to make it a good show in order for the other inmates to not suspect him.
Well, the way he resisted arrest, use quotations, way I saw him resist arrest. Oh, no, actually, I didn't see that.
You had laughed, unfortunately,
at that
point.
Yeah. Never mind. I don't know about that.
You know what? I like it, though, so I'm going to say it from her perspective. I'll tell you, though, the way he resisted arrest when we called the guards in gives me some confidence he knows what he's doing.
Oh, so maybe he took some acting pages from you, Astro.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he must have learned it from the best.
Do you have a scene like that in one of your movies?
Well, I mean, just, improv is something, that I'm quite good at, and he must have picked up on that.
So, if you have anything you need to pass along to him, tomorrow he can start receiving visitors. I wouldn't recommend you three associating with him. We need to keep your noses as clean as possible, but no one will begrudge his significant other from paying him a visit.
Yes, for now, I think only Jessica should see him.
In the meantime, she rubs the bridge of her nose with her finger and thumb a little bit. There's so many things that I had planned on having you look into, and it all pushes back my timetables. I need to keep you looking rosy so that once they take their eyes off of you, I can start moving you behind the screen a little bit. My plan was, originally I was just going to say, oh, you're guarding this caravan or that caravan, or, looking into this or that to see where, the shipping disruption is coming from for me, and use that as a smokescreen for sending you to investigate what's going on the station. But at least for the next little bit, they're going to be checking up on me as I do those things, so I might actually just have to have you do them.
Well, I mean, that was part of our job before for some time, so it's something that we're accustomed to.
I'm impatient to find out what's happening here. They've already slowed me down so much by putting up this contest, and if I was even really on their side and actually trying to do logistics for them, I'd be pissed off right now. It just seems like... I don't know. There's something scratching at the edge of my mind that tells me I'm missing something.
Something else going on, maybe.
Yeah.
By the way, what's your take on this whole situation with rebel attackers targeting these stations? And do you think we might have been intentionally framed?
Yes. Astro, yes, I do.
That's just another complication.
I didn't want to say it outright, but the other people who were targeted either died or had no problems. You're the only group who survived and looked guilty in the process. Someone had to set that up.
Yeah. So there's an unknown party that we have to be wary about.
Any enemies I need to be aware of that could be operating in the area? Did you really piss off any of the other teams?
Not that I know of.
Well, one thing I want to call out is these rebels seem to have really advanced tech on their side. And I know at least we had
You said something along those lines, and Nosla and Doc insinuated it, but honestly, they haven't really told me what that means. I think I need a debrief now. What's going on?
Well, when they attacked the platform, they somehow managed to take control of this big piece of machinery, this crane machine. And that's what destroyed a lot of the contest security people in the first place.
Well, the wild thing is, like, it wasn't just one crane. It was like it took all the cranes, fused them together, or they combined,
or
something.
The cranestrosity.
Yeah, like we've been calling it claustrosity, but it's literally some sort of monstrosity formed from multiple claws or cranes or whatever.
How is that possible?
And here's the weird thing.
Yeah.
When I tried to hack into it in order to jam its systems, I wasn't able to determine how it was being controlled.
In order to Astro jam the systems.
Trademark. PM.
And then you can also start selling Astro Jam in grape and blueberry.
Wait, no orange?
No orange. I'm sorry.
Missed opportunity.
You should have one for each of the alerts. Orange alert is orange, red alert is cherry or strawberry or something.
It's beige, just butter.
Beige alert. No, it should be like, I don't know, like apricots kind of beigeish when you mash it all down, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, this sounds like orange.
No, it's not vibrant orange, that's for sure. It's very muted.
I'll send it out to my marketing team, let them work out the details.
What you come to CCRPG for? Jam talk.
Special edition Nightman Jam is blackberry, you know.
Yeah.
It's a podcast and a podcast.
But yeah, Effie goes, okay, but that doesn't make any sense.
I agree. I don't know how they did it.
I don't think we're in the business of understanding how it works right now, because I don't think that gives us anything. What I want to call out, though, and there's other stuff too, like the signal jamming and lots of other little details, but this is not the first time we've encountered technology that we don't 100% understand. I mean, I think back to that attack on AO Station. Like, they're for context,
Ren told me that they met you when you helped save their station from some odd threat.
Right. They were trying to get into, like, some sort of vault or safe, and when we want to fight the mech, it seemed to... What is the term? Out of character. That's exotalk is normally how we refer to it. Exotic tech.
Oh, exotic tech or like I guess that's how you would refer to it. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, like some sort of exotech, and we weren't entirely sure how it was running, and it definitely was, well, to put it bluntly, weird as shit.
Well, it was a mech within a mech that self-destructed as soon as it realized it was going to lose.
So maybe there's some sort of party that recognized us and they're like, yeah, we don't want these guys sniffing around, so we've been singled out. At least that's my 2 cents.
Huh. Well,
I hadn't thought of that before. You think there's a connection then, Evelene? What we faced on AO Station and here?
I put some money on it. Not a lot of it, mind you, but I mean, I think the coincidence is not to be ignored.
And my nickel.
I got a quarter.
I feel like there's a lot of pieces on the board. We just have to fit them together.
Well, if this is something happening in different places and no one can see the connection, keep your eyes open and get it back to us. This is something the dialectics will want to look into.
And speaking of connections, Astro and I have managed to collate that report that my NHP used to predict the attack.
Oh, good.
Be warned, it is an enormous amount of data.
That is fine. I care very little for if they're able to make use of it. I will just forward it on to them. They can puzzle through and try to figure it out themselves. That is not our goal here.
Good, because I could barely figure out what it was that she was trying to say until she said, "They're coming," and then initiated my weapons.
You probably should listen to her more, in case something like this happens again.
That's on top of my list. Just don't tell her that.
Well, I think...
Item 1, listen to Artemis.
For the time being, I'm going to start assigning you to some patrols, escorting some of my logistics shipments for bringing in raw materials to the project. It'll be time intensive and it will occupy your time and it will feel like busy work, but that's what it is. We just need to get you doing good work on paper so that I can start having you do things off book without it getting suspicious.
If that's what it takes, we'll do it.
You've been good being self-starters. Feel free, you have access to E2705 now. In your personal time, when you're off the clock for me, feel free to look into things if you need. If you have a lead and need to follow it up, just make sure that it won't come back on you or make it look too suspicious. But I trust in your judgment to follow up on things.
Oh, definitely. We'll always be poking around where we can. Discreetly, of course.
I will let you know if anything arouses suspicion or if there's anything to worry about that finds its way to my ears. Is there anything you need right now?
Nothing right now. I guess we'll sit tight.
All right. Well, I'll send you a few schedules. Ship manifests, navigational data. We'll get you to work here in a day or two. Want to give you some time on station so that you can pass along anything you need to Steve before I get you out there.
Very good.
As always, if you're contacting me with unrestricted or unencoded messaging, make sure you don't say anything that could blow up Steve or my spot. We're all running around with a few too many identities, and I don't want us to get confused.
Yeah, for example, you called me Astro several times in the council today.
I have never once done that. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, Astro is her favorite actor. Obviously, that's why they were confusing the two of you.
Sorry, it's just you look so much like my favorite actor.
But you're nothing alike. You have a beard.
Yeah. And a turtleneck. No one's ever seen Astro wear a turtleneck before.
Except that one time. No, wait.
All right. Well, get in touch if you need anything. I'll get you on job, like I said, in a few days. You can requisition various materials through me if you need repair or rearmed. let's get to work.
All right.
Cool. And then the montage plays.
Well, what do you need to communicate to Steve in thing? Because Jessica will need told by you what she should pass on to Steve when she goes to meet him the next day.
Probably about the transponder. He can use that however he will.
Okay.
Anything else, guys?
So I would say that
probably
just that we're going to be laying low for the next couple of weeks, trying to cement our position and our reputation. So nothing major is going to happen without us getting word to him first.
We're taking a 4-week vacation, have fun in jail.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the vacation planet. Get a tan.
Risa is great this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Go to Risa.
I feel like there's no one that gets all the references we make here.
Yeah, people know what they're getting into. We're a
I
bunch of
know
nerds.
Star Trek a little bit. I do need to catch up, though. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like a gap I'm kind of embarrassed about with how much I'm into other sci-fi things. I'm like, man, that's like foundational. I should probably fill in that gap at some point.
As long as you don't confuse Star Trek and Star Wars. That's the main thing. That's all. Just, tell him, we're there with him, we're not really there with him, but we're not gonna forget about him. We're gonna keep up communications best we can, and make sure we get you back.
Okay, well, looks like we'll have to just get through the next few weeks.
Oh,
let's transition. Okay, yeah. What else do you need to tell him?
Just one more thing, I guess. Tell him that he probably came to this conclusion himself, but tell him we think we were framed with this whole fiasco. So maybe if he's able to discern any information behind who framed us, that could be useful too.
All right, so that is what you all are going to be up to for the next little bit. Let's pop over and see our buddy Steve. Steve, you are taken a few platforms over to what is a converted industrial platform. It used to be combination residential and industrial, but it seems like the plants that used to operate here have been turned into security facilities and holding facilities. As you are taken through the main thoroughfare from where they docked with this platform to where they're holding you, you do pass a couple of open areas where for a moment you see crowds. The residential districts that are still on this platform do not look like they're doing well. There are flats that look in disrepair. The people who walk by seem outwardly downtrodden. It is past the point where people are keeping this internal. You are walking past a town of ghosts, basically. And they pay you a modicum of notice as you are dragged in under a full security escort into this security facility. But none of them pay you that much interest, as if this is a common sight for them. The security pulls you into what simultaneously is corporate clean and industrial dirty. It is obviously a converted factory that they have installed newer, more comfortable locations for their guards, for their security checkpoints. But once you are inside, this is a place that they paid very little attention to what it would be like to be incarcerated here. The areas are dirty, as if they've had years of hot and dirty work happen in them. They've converted rooms into holding cells. Large open areas that once probably had manufacturing machines in them are turned into the open areas that now contain the tables that the prisoners are expected to eat at. What were once side rooms and closets have had walls ripped out and replaced with bars and doors for holding cells. You are taken into an offshoot of an area. It is maybe only 8 cells long. It is a hallway off of a larger communal area. You are taken to the middle left of this hallway, brought to a single cell. There is someone already in the cell who watches with interest as you're brought in. What is Steve's reaction as all of this is happening?
I'd say that I'm not fighting like I was when they first, got me and everything. I assume I was like processed, put in different clothes, that kind of thing.
You were brought in, your personal effects were put into a bin. You were given like standard issue, like jumpsuit to put on, which funnily looks like it is just like a factory jumpsuit that had its name tag ripped off.
Okay.
Everyone that you pass looks like they're wearing the same thing. So yes, exactly what you think it was.
Okay. I'll just let them put me into the cell at this point and just look at the cellmate then.
The guards take you up to the cell. One steps forward, unlocks it, slides the door open. The one behind you, you're not cuffed or anything. They're not worried about you trying to escape. They kind of like shove you in a little unceremoniously, slide the door closed behind you, and lock it. The one at the door says, "We'll be back for you in like an hour. Got to do our initial checkups. Make sure there's nothing they missed in processing. Be good for now, you hear?" And you hear the one behind him chuckle a little bit. And you see them walk off out of the hallway and past your vision. You know there are like 8 cells in this block that you're in. 4 cells on one side, 4 cells on the other. The walls to either side are solid. Only the wall facing the hallway itself is barred. And every cell seems to accommodate up to 2 prisoners.
I'll just mutter asshat to myself as he walks away. And then look at the other guy. Does he say anything right away or no?
No. Like, looks at you as you're getting put in. And then as soon as you're done, kind of like looks down. And as soon as they're out of sight, you see him produce from somewhere, you're not quite sure where, a nail file. And starts, like, grinding down his nails a little bit.
All right. I'll just look at him and go, I don't need to, like, fight you to assert dominance here or anything.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm tired. Bunk over there is yours. I got used to this one.
All right. I'll go sit down on it. What's with these corporate assholes? What are you here for?
Not quite sure. They told me, they told me that if they could prove what I had done, that I wouldn't be here on a short-term stay. So I don't want to say anything if people could be listening. And he taps his head 3 times.
I'll just nod at him, half smile and go, all right, whatever.
He looks around, like looks out the bars to the opposite. Like the cells are kind of off center with each other, so the middle of your cell actually looks at the between 2 cells on the opposite side. So it's not like you're looking directly in to other people's cells if you looks across the hallway. You're kind of looking at a wall that on the very edges you can tell goes into 2 other cells. Like if you went right up and placed your head against the bars, you could see out into the 2 cells that are catty corner from you, but it's not like the cells are directly across from each other. He goes, "So what's your name?"
Steve. You?
Parvin.
Parvin. All right.
How about you? What they get you on?
They didn't get shit on me because I didn't do anything.
Innocent. That's novel.
You hear about their stupid contest?
He thinks a little bit? No? Contest? You win some big contest, send you to jail?
Yeah, grand prize. Here I am.
Well, ain't that shit.
Now these guys called in big advertisements. All Lancer pilots come try out for the contest. They wanted to hire 3 mercenary groups, and I just happened to be one of them. Well,
He raises an eyebrow at you and goes, "You some kind of security guy?"
More sellsword, I guess, but we were trying to be, getting some money, working for corporals, getting their good end. Seems like the up and up deal, right?
If you're a fucking sellout, I guess.
Well, might have been until now.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for working with them. Bunch of fucking asshats, just like you said.
Might be right. One of the other crews got offed, and I just happened to be the last one to contact them on the record.
See, that's where you went wrong. You had bad luck.
I guess bad luck's why you're here?
Yeah, everyone in this hallway. Bad luck. That's why we're all here, right? All innocent men. And others. Less innocent.
Innocence seems to be more on the eye of the beholder here.
Yeah. Well, when the corpos showed up, I don't think they saw anyone who lived here as innocent. All of us guilty and getting in their way.
Yeah, what is with that? They didn't tell us anything about rebels or anything, and now it seems like they're all over the place. I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but I just look at them.
What's that word when they say things that only, matter to them?
Self-interest?
Putting up props or something like that, news and whatnot. They just say what is convenient for them. They only tell half the story. If you listen to them, anyone who disagrees with them's a frickin' rebel.
What's the other half? Shit looked kind of rough out there as they dragged me in.
Well, if you ask some people, who ain't rebels, mind you, it's them who, caused the first problems. It's just they got enough money to not care about the law. Yeah, but this is heady for a first date conversation. You're gonna be here for a while.
Yeah, suppose so. What do they mean when they say they're coming back in an hour?
Oh, you gonna have a nice little chat.
Let me guess, don't fight back?
He turns his face to you, a little bit closer so you can see the other side of his face more clearly, and he motions to a big bruise around his ear and near his jaw on one side of his face, and he goes, it's the last time I had a nice little chat with him.
Lovely. I get out of here.
Yeah, well, you ain't out of here yet, so get used to it. Hey, at least he looks at there's a tiny little window at the far end of the hallway. He looks out of the room and goes, You're lucky. Based on the light, you'll be done with it before dinner time. You'll actually get to eat today. If they really hate you, they'll call you in for questioning when it's food time. You'll have to be hungry and hurt.
Man, the implications they put on me, I'm surprised I get even that. They really think I'm some rebel fighter or something.
Yeah, well, if you're here, that means they can't make it stick, or they don't want to go through the paperwork to get you fully processed.
Makes sense. My crew's still out there.
Yeah, are they your crew anymore, or did you fuck that up too? With all the unluckiness.
I don't know. I don't know what they've been told. I don't... I'd like to think that they're going to come and break me out of here, but chances are they might have... Look, we're good. We're real good. We were shoo-ins. We got in, I think. They got in. I don't know.
Oh. Well, hate to break this to you, buddy, but they probably sold you out then. If they're out there taking a corporate contract and you're in here, it looks like someone's on the wrong end of that pen, if you get my drift.
Oh, fuck. What am I going to do?
Yeah, you got some time to figure it out. Ain't no stranger in here to bad luck.
I'll just nod at them and feign / just start thinking to myself.
Yeah. A little bit of time passes, and eventually, the chuckling guard comes back. He's a little larger, prominent brow, close-cropped hair. He has very defined, large shoulders. But he's not as muscular as you think he should be, right? He looks like he has the build of someone who'd be the muscle, but like, he doesn't. You think you could probably take him. He comes and gets you. He's like, hey, new guy, time to go have a conversation with the warden.
I'll just comply and get up and walk out.
He kind of like paces along behind you. He does not really tell you where to go because it seems he gets some sort of pleasure of like jostling you roughly if you start to walk the wrong way at all. So he's like leading you from behind and just kind of like shoving you different directions when you like get to an intersection and don't know where to go. Eventually, you make your way down a hallway that seems to be a bunch of offices. This place is a labyrinth. This is obviously just some repurposed giant, like, factory. Nothing makes sense. Nothing is labeled. It seems like the people who work here have a sense of what this place layout is, but, like, you'd never be able to figure it out on your own without, like, you know, some time.
Sure.
He shoves you into a room and goes... Hey, new guy, you lucky. I'm expected somewhere else, so, bye. He just locks the door behind you, and you're in a dark room. He puts you in there, he doesn't turn the light on, he just shuts you in a dark room.
Okay. I'll feel along the wall for a light switch.
You eventually find it. There is a light in here. You turn the light on, and the room has one of those, like, uncomfortably bright lights that's just like a single spotlight in the center of the ceiling that points straight down. There is a table and 2 chairs in here, all made of metal.
Some conversation, I'll say. Instead, just sit down on one of the chairs.
After, like, waiting a little bit longer than you thought it would, like 10 minutes later, eventually you hear the door outside unlock. And as the person comes in, you notice that they are very well dressed for a guard. They are the kind of guard who make sure every button is in the right place, make sure their pants are properly pleated, make sure their badge is like lined up and square on their chest. They close the door behind them, lock it, and then as they walk into the room, they like nod at you, pull out the chair, sit opposite you, sit down at the chair, and then they just look at you for a minute.
I give them a minute, and then I'll just say back, Warden, I presume?
The person holds up one hand to, stop you, and then you see them rummage around in their pocket and pull something out. They place it on the table. It looks to be a remote of some sort. And you see them press one of the buttons on it. They look around the room, satisfied by something you don't quite understand, and they put the remote back in their pocket. Okay, we can talk.
We weren't really talking before, so...
Good.
I'll just nod at him.
My name is Bert. I am going to be a associate of yours while you're here. It's fallen on to me to be your correctional advisor. I'm also working for Nosla.
Nosla has a lot of people in her pocket, it seems.
I'm sure she told you that you would be passing along some information while you're in here. I will be your contact for that. Do not talk to anyone but me while you are in here. None of the other guards are to be trusted. Do you understand?
I definitely did not get any impression of trusting any of these guards.
A lot of them are station security, drawn from the dregs of the local population. Not trustworthy people.
No offense, but I'm not sure I can trust you yet either.
Well, that's too bad. I'm your contact from Nosla. If you need anything while you're here, it will have to go through me.
Okay. Well, I don't need anything yet. Is there something else that you're here to tell me?
To introduce myself, so you know what to do while you're here. Try not to cause too much of a commotion. If you need to make work for the other guards, you better sure it's worth it, because they're low people. They will enjoy putting you in your place. If you need to do it to gain the trust of the other inmates, then please feel free. I won't discipline you for it, but they will.
Understood.
Second, if you are brought into one of these conversations while I am not present, I'm afraid you'll have to put up with some minor bullying. He has almost like he has a sour taste on his tongue. These other guards are crude in their tactics. Don't give them a reason to go too far.
Noted.
I am now going to have to give you something that'll make things at least look plausible.
Don't worry. And I'll just take a deep breath and then just kind of punch myself.
I'm glad you were prepared to do it yourself. I find it distasteful having to do it. Looks good on you. He smirks. He hands you a tissue for the little bit of blood.
I should have thought about that. I don't think I get an ice pack.
Well, I hope you can hack it. I don't think we've tried this tack yet. Don't have enough people we can trust to put under cover. Let's hope you're worth the risk I'm taking.
I assume the cell you put me in is the best bet?
Your partner is suspected of rebel sympathizing. Parvin Rayan Clerks. We brought him in because he was rabble-rousing. We think he was recruiting. Perfect cellmate for you. There are people nearby to keep an eye out for as well. Zippo Edge and Cup Tricks. We don't know if those are their real names, but if you meet them, make sure to get on their good side. We think there's information they're holding out. Might be a good opportunity for you to make some inroads with the scum that we keep here.
Man, if those are their real names, their parents must hate them.
He smiles and goes, yes, well, I hate them too. Maybe I'd get along with their parents.
All right. Thanks for the info. That'll help. How do I get in contact with you, or will you be making regular meetings to me?
Everyone here has meetings fairly regularly to make sure they aren't forgetting anything they want to tell us. So you'll be seeing more of me in a day or two.
All right.
If there is ever an emergency where you need to get a hold of me, there is an option. A ripcord, if you would, is only to be used if you have something so important to give us it is worth sinking the entire mission.
Okay, what's that? I don't plan on using it, but...
You will tell one of the guards to contact me, and you will let them know corporate has a problem with a rooster.
Okay.
They will bring you to me immediately, but it will burn your cover.
All right. Noted.
Time to take you back. I hope you had a pleasant experience.
I'm sure it'll be lovely here. When
Smiles.
they ask for my rating, I'll give you 5 stars.
Good. Stands up, dusts himself off, straightens his jacket and his pants. He pulls out the remote he has and holds a shushing motion up to his lips. He will click the remote, and then he will go and open the door. Just outside the door is the large guard, Chuckles. You don't know his real name, that had brought you here earlier. And he will go, Azure, the inmate was less than cooperative. Make sure he finds his way back to his cell without stumbling too much. He steps out, looks back at you distastefully, scoffs, and walks off. The other guard walks in and shakes his head just back and forth. Ain't a good idea to get on the boss's bad side on your first day. You're really making this hard on yourself.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's the problem. You should have done something to make him happy. Now get your ass up. You need to go back to your cell.
God, he's got a mean hook. I'll get up and follow.
All right. You are escorted back to your cell. He does the same thing he did before, where he pushes you and kind of half trips you as he tries to shove you back in your cell, not preparing you for it and just strong 2-hand shove on the back of your shoulders. Closes the door behind you, locks you up, and he looks at the other guy in the cell, Parvin, and goes, Hey, looks like your shiner's almost fully recovered. You'll be all ready for our talk tomorrow. And you see Parvin look up at him, just scowl and look back down. He leaves.
What a fruitful conversation, I said as I sit down on the other bunk.
Oh, you had a fun one, huh?
No, it's probably not any worse than you guys have been through.
Everyone meets the Morden on their first meeting. So, hey, you'll have another chance the next time you have a meeting if you get someone else. Maybe you won't fuck up this time.
A chance for what? He didn't believe me. Seems like no one believes me.
Yeah, might no one gonna. He just goes back to manicuring his fingernails.
Yep, that's all I got. I don't want to push too much on like the first day or meeting him.
Yeah.
Let him to come up with his own opinions and stuff. So
you start going through the motions. You are brought out for dinner. They dismiss you all to dinner one block at a time. So you end up at dinner with all the same people who are in your hallway, which is the first time you get a good look at the other members of the people who are down the hallway with you. No one really talks that much when they sit together. You can see some people like acknowledge each other. They chat a little bit about like, this rolls hard as a rock today and stuff like that. You get a sense of who's who. The guards actually don't pay much attention to you while you're eating at the table. They're all doing patrols on the higher levels while you're all eating and stuff like that. You get like an hour to just sit here at the tables amongst the other people at your cell block before they round you up to take you back. Some people there take note that there's a new member of their block. They look at you, they look at Parvin, but don't really make any attempt to reach out to you.
yeah, I'll just cordially sit with Parvin and make small talk.
They will all take you back to your cells. Eventually, the guards come by, and before the end of the night, they'll like clack their little sticks on the bars as they're going past, making a show of counting all the people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, like as they're going to each cell, making sure each cell has 2 people in it. 8. And when they get to the end, it's like, all right, lowlifes, it's lights out, stay quiet. And then as they walk away, the lights for your block get dimmed. Not off completely, just real dark. Parvin says, all right, well, end of your first day. Hope you had a good one. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. So I just think to myself, like, oh, what did I get into?
The next day starts with another meal where everyone sits together again. They end up taking you back, and that's when you're informed by the burly guard who had been shoving you around before, as he seems to be named based on what Birdie called him, or Bert. Hey, you're gonna have a visitor today.
What, who, me?
Yeah, you, new guy. Gonna have a visitor today.
Oh, that's great.
Sure it is. Fucking piece of human trash, he mumbles as he leaves.
What'd I do to that guy?
Parvin looks at you, is like, he just hates everyone. My theory? He's just a shit person. Hasn't accomplished anything in his life, takes it out on us.
Starting to think that description qualifies for anyone here on this station. Well, present company excluded, of course.
Not like I got anything good accomplished either. Maybe you're more right than you understand.
What do you mean?
Well, all of us make mistakes is what I'm saying. I'm sure you get it, Mr. Bad Luck.
I was starting to think that all we had was luck.
Yeah, well, bad luck's still luck. A little time passes, and eventually you are fetched, and you are taken to a room. It is Bert, who is outside the room. When you get there, the burly guard actually seems surprised to see him there. Warden, why you here? Bert goes, don't worry, I got this one. The, visitor. Don't worry about it. We'll talk later. He, shoos off the guard. Bert will walk in the room with you, and Jessica's already in there. Bert will hold up his little remote, press a button on it, and say to you, you guys can talk freely here. I won't be able to do this many times. But you won't have to worry about being overheard this conversation.
Thanks, Warden.
Yeah, well, make use of it. I will be marking down that a over-assertive woman came asking about you today and demanded that the warden escort her to see you. You may get some pushback from the guards for this. He smiles at you.
They've probably never seen a woman before, so I can't blame them.
Well, I'll be nearby. You have 20 minutes. He walks out. Jessica gets up from her chair and walks over to hug you as the door closes.
Excuse me. Yeah, I hug her back. And I whisper very quietly in her ear, just nothing sensitive.
She looks at you and kind of nods back.
How's the DBC?
It's okay. We just talked to Effic yesterday. Was told what's going on. Some things happened that Astro wanted me to pass on to you, but honestly, I'm more worried about you. Why did you volunteer for this?
I just kind of give her a little bit of a knowing look and just go, there's information that we need here, you and I, and I think this is the best way to get to it. Just so it happens that it coincides with other strands of intrigue that are going on right now.
I get it, but it still feels risky. I don't like you being in here with no one to watch your back. Couldn't you have talked them into putting you and Astro in here or something?
I
don't know if Astro would cut it in here for very long.
Could you imagine Astro in a prison cell?
Astro was in a movie where he escaped from prison. It's a Great Escape reboot, so he knows all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or so he thinks.
Was it the Shawshank Redemption?
No, Great Escape.
Oh.
Paul Newman.
I'm not too worried. This isn't anything that I can't deal with for a little while.
Steve
Probably be
naturally. Sorry.
You're fine. It'll probably be a couple weeks. These guards can't do anything that I couldn't do to them, so it'll be fine. There needs to be a good show of it. I need to prove that I am on their side.
Well, I know you'll do fine. You always do.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just, if you make contact with the people that we need information from, do what you need to, but don't put yourself into too much more danger. You always volunteer for the tough assignments.
Sorry. That's what got us here in the first place, I guess.
She smiles weakly. It's not like I didn't encourage you.
It's okay. We'll make it out. If you need to, you can get out too, I'm sure. I don't imagine that you're in any kind of situation you couldn't get out of. If you hear I get out, then we know where to meet up, so.
Yeah. Well, let's get you what you need to know. First, they found a transponder in the leg of Astro's mech.
Huh.
It was feeding off just slight power drain from the mech itself. It wasn't an external power source. I imagine that's why they didn't detect any extra power sources, and it drained such little energy from Astro's mech that it was within variance range. They think that it was installed during certification, which is why it went unnoticed.
Do they think it was the council, or do they think it was one of the other groups?
According to Ethic, it could be rebels, other groups, another member of the council. We don't know. They're keeping it active on the ship, just removed from Astro's mech right now, so that no one knows we found it and turned it off or anything. But they haven't really decided what to do with it yet.
Well, if it was one of the Lancer groups, it probably wasn't one of the ones that got through, unless
it was.
The Uncanny Ravine.
Could be. They're creepy.
They went for... But if it's not them, then it would have to be either the rebels or the council. The other Lancer groups are gone, aren't they?
Yeah, anyone who didn't make grade is left.
I don't know. I'll try to figure out what I can from in here. I don't know when we're going to be able to meet again, but if I find anything of use, I'll let you know. So far, it's just a bunch of people that got taken off the street for believing in something, it seems like.
Well, those are the people you're here to meet. If we're lucky, it'll lead back to their leadership.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Second, even with this happening, the scrutiny you were under means that the rest of the crew is going to have to lie low for a few weeks, just to lose heat. Effic wants them on some milk runs, just carting things here or there, protecting assets, doing the job they were actually supposed to be hired for. That way, the other council members don't look too hard at what we're doing. So I don't think I'm going to find out what Ethic wants us to do until we start taking some more off-the-book jobs.
That makes sense. It's to be expected at this point with everything that happened. I imagine Ren might get kind of antsy after a while. They didn't expect us to be out this long, I guess, but we'll see. If you do hear anything from Ren or from Ethic, let me know.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep abreast of what this group of dialectics is. We know they're bringing Astro in, but it doesn't seem like he knows any more than I do currently.
I think that's usually a safe bet.
Well,
look, they're a good crew. You'll be okay with them for a while.
Yeah, it's a shame. I think they could be better used in other places.
Cards are on the table for that. They have to make their own choices. But yeah, we can always hope they make the right one.
Last big thing they thought you needed to know is they think we were actively framed. With the way things are set up between Astro and Ethic and the rest of the crew, they don't think it was just circumstance that we're the only group that survived and had suspicious circumstances around us.
No, that makes sense.
I mean,
I'll keep it in mind, but there's not much I can really do with it here.
Well, they said maybe look into that while you're in here, or that's what they wanted me to tell you. if it turns out that the rebels did play a hand in anything that happened, maybe you'll be able to find out. Honestly, I don't think that's what it is, but maybe you'll be able to rule it out, at least.
It seems unlikely. If it was the rebels, then me getting close to them might be a pipe dream. It seems odd that they would attempt to specifically target us and then make contact with me. So if I do get in a position where I'll find anything out, then it likely means that they're not the ones who did it.
Yeah. Honestly, I keep thinking, who benefits from us taking a fall or passing off the deed to someone else? I mean, we probably are thinking of the same groups of people it could be, but I just don't know what to do with that information right now.
Just be careful. Don't trust anyone that we know we can't trust.
Well, standard procedure then.
Same old, same old.
Just take care of yourself in here. We're going to be out on these missions for a while. I don't know if I'm going to be able to visit for a while.
Yeah, I'll be all right. They feed me most of the time.
Don't joke about that. You're already skin and bones.
I'll be all right.
All right. Well, good luck, and don't do anything you wouldn't do. She smiles.
Yeah, same to you.
All right.
I'll give her another hug before she leaves.
She hugs you. Stay safe.
You too.
She knocks on the door. The warden, Bert, opens up. All right, I've had enough time. Time to get going. Looks at the other guard who's still there. You, take the prisoner back to the cell. I'll make sure our little Miss VIP gets taken back out and shown where the exit is. You're separated again. And you're taken back to your cell. As you come in this time, Parvin looks at you and goes, got a visitor. I guess not everyone out there has forgotten about you.
No, it's hard to believe. They still think that I'm the one that did it, that killed that other Lancer group.
Yeah, well, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. Even if I get out of this situation, I don't know what these corpos are going to let me work on again. My old crew will even take me back. Maybe if I explain what happened to them, but...
Listen, that's what all of us in here got to deal with.
Oh, come on. You have to have something going on after this.
You might not know this from not being a local, but a lot of people can't get jobs here on good old E2305. You get a record of any kind, they won't take you for their little rebirth project. We got people in here who have a little bit of a, what do they call it, loitering? Aggressive loitering. Yeah, I don't think they'll work again.
I don't know how you aggressively loiter, but that seems harsh.
Loitering when you got the eyes of someone important on you, I guess. Or you're loitering in a place they want. He leans over towards you a little bit and goes, it's a bullshit charge they can kick you out of your house with. Reclaim it, convert it.
That's disgusting.
They got more population on these platforms than they need as a workforce. I think they'd be just as happy if most of us died off tomorrow.
I'll admit I don't really know what to do with that.
Hey, you and me both.
Sorry your home is the way that it is.
He, leans back against the wall, kind of crosses his arm and goes, yeah, lots of people who don't like the way things is. Just wish we could do something about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's about the most you get out of him today.
Yep.
You're
I don't try
be
for
here,
anything.
Yeah, you're going to be in here for a couple of weeks. That's how long they can make your sentence stick. Parvin, he lets slip, in the comings and goings and minor conversations you have with him that he's getting out of here a few days before you're done. You find out slowly that the rest of the people in this cell block all, like he said, have had run-ins with their own bad luck. Some you think are a little bit more active about the bad luck they're seeking. You find out very quickly that Zippo Edge is a bit of a troublemaker. He always looks beat up when you see him for mealtimes. But Parvin seems to respect him even though he's a troublemaker. You've seen a few times when Zippo has missed a meal to get, honestly, just beaten up for running his mouth, where Parvin's tucked away a roll that he could throw to him across the cells so he didn't have to miss all of dinner. You learn that Cuptrix is another person who likes talking after lights go down at night. It's gotten him in trouble a couple of times, but because of this, you find out, once lights out happens, the guards get real lazy, and they're not really monitoring you. They just don't want you making too much noise so that they have to come check on you. What do you do with this time? I will let you also incorporate pilot checks into this to see if you can do some legwork here.
So I will take Parvin's lead and occasionally help. I think it was Cuptrix that would miss out on food from time to time.
Zippo Edge. Zippo's the one who runs his mouth a bit too much and ends up in extra conversations during meal times.
Okay. Yeah, I'll occasionally sneak him some food from time to time. Just get in the good with all of them, best I can. If any of them start a fight, then I will help out once in a while. If there's a big fight in the food court or something,
Mm-hmm. Let's say that happens. What happens in your mind? What does this scene look like? You've been here a few days. You've had an experience where Zippo's come back beaten and bloodied. And then this time, you and Parvin both have a little bit extra tucked away. He seems real grateful. Next day rolls around. Some adjacent people, from another cell block get a little rough around the edges and don't like that Zippo keeps causing trouble. Start talking to him about it. He gets real upset about this, and a guard tries to butt in, obviously taking the side against Zippo immediately just because he's a known troublemaker. You see things look like they're about to get violent. What do you do?
I'm gonna walk up behind one of the so there was another group that was getting mad at Zippo first, right?
That's correct.
I'm gonna try to get up behind one of those guys and push them into the guard.
Oh, nice. What do you think this is?
I want to call it an assault.
Yeah, you're starting a combat here, basically.
Yeah.
We're not going to do combat rolls for this, but you're like trying to direct a combat here. You know things are about to get violent, so go ahead.
Okay. No bonuses or negatives?
It's going to be just a straight assault. Yep.
All right. Whew. That's a 4.
The guard sees you do this immediately. You push this other guy into the guard, and it is seconds before 3 more guards are in here. You get cracked over the back of the head with one of their clubs. You see Zippo, who, in the guard's eyes, started all this, get grabbed around both arms and dragged away. You're dazed. One of the other inmates gets a lucky punch in on you before the guards are able to call things down, and you're pulled off into extra conversations. You don't see the rest of the inmates for a little bit, because this time you're not here with the warden. You're here with Azure.
Mm-hmm.
He looks you up and down. He's like, you know, I kind of expected you were this.
I was this? Let me guess. A piece of shit.
And then he puts his foot just under the seat of your chair and then lifts suddenly to like throw your chair onto its back, and you just hit the ground with a thud. He's like, hey, don't get ahead of me. I'm talking here. He walks around you a little bit. You know, I'm surprised. You're not even from here. What do you got love for these people?
I just kind of shrug and go, I don't know. Are you from here?
Yeah, I am.
And
enough to know these
go?
people. I lost it. These people had their chance. They could have worked for the corpse. They could have gotten in good with them like I did. They all want to be the victim.
Look, I tried. I was one of those Lancer pilots, right? Then they all assumed I did something I didn't do. What do you want from me?
Everyone in here is innocent. He kicks the side of your chair and sends you spinning across the floor a little bit.
I'm like tied to the chair, I assume.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
Well, he like lifts to like knock you onto your side in the chair a little bit. I think learning you're in a perilous situation will be a good thing to sit with for a little bit. Maybe re-examine why you got any care in the world for these fools. I'll let you think about it a little while. I'll see you in a few hours. He opens the door, shuts off the light, closes the door, and you hear him lock it. And he leaves you in the dark in this room for 2 hours. Bruised, knocked over, tied to the chair.
What a jerk.
Oh, yeah.
You know, guys, I don't think I like him.
Seems kind of mean.
Yeah, actually, I'll just take a nap.
After all the work I've done to build sympathy for him, where's your pathos?
I know, right? He was the real hero all this time.
Yeah, he was the corporate stooge we were supposed to be rooting for the whole time. Eventually, he comes back. He lifts you back up into your chair. You notice he does a thing where before he unties you, he actually unsheathes his club. He like pulls it out from its little holster before he unties you. And then he lets you get up. He goes, all right, back to your cell.
All right, I'll head back.
All right.
I won't fight him or anything.
Yeah, he just follows you back. He does the same thing he always does, which you're getting used to at this point. Like, you know the way back to your cell from here, but he still insists on, like, shoving you this way and that on your way back. You get back to the cell. You see Parvin, like, look up at you and see, like, what must be bruises. You can't see yourself because you can't see yourself. There's no mirrors in here, but he like shakes his head. And yeah, he shoves you into the cell, closes and locks the door. You stay nice and quiet in here tonight. If I gotta come looking for any trouble later, I already know who the rabble-rousers are, huh? And he leaves.
I'll look over and go, is Zip okay?
Parvin sighs. He pulls out what appears to be a small biscuit, half of a biscuit, and hands it to you, since you didn't finish your dinner.
What, no gravy?
Yeah, well, you and Zippo got a share this time. Can usually only sneak away with one.
I just half smile at him as I'll take it, greedily eat it. Thanks.
Yeah. Wish some people thought ahead from time to time, you know?
Look, I've seen what's been happening here, and I'm tired of staying quiet all the time.
Yeah, well, you aren't going to get anything done in here. Cool it a little bit.
I'll look very, like, contemplative at him saying that, and then just kind of nod a little bit. I'll try.
After lights out for the night, you hear someone. Have you given your name at any point? And what name do you give? You know,
Steve.
over the Steve. You just tell him Steve. You hear whispering from a cell over or so. Steve, you in there?
Yeah, but stay quiet. The idiot said I couldn't make noise.
Oh yeah, it's fine. You recognize the voice. This is Cups. He goes, I like what you did back there. Too bad you got spotted so quick.
Whatever.
Hey, listen. I got a pool going with the other guys here for when we get out. You know, and I usually only deal people in if I know them already. But hey, I feel like I know you. You get up there and you get all angry. It makes it easy to read, you know. And I have a way of reading people.
Yeah, you good at it?
Reading
yeah. People?
Oh yeah. People look at me and go, Tricks, you know people, and I'm like, yeah, I do.
All right, I'll bite. What's this pool?
Well, you know, we're taking bets, and I usually only deal in people who are locals, but way you fixin', it looks like you're gonna get yourself stuck here too. So bets are on who goes first, you know?
Who goes?
Ain't a lot of us got a lot of time left, you know?
I don't plan on going anywhere.
Yeah, well, we're bonded, you know? We're all in the same cells. We're all in the same little block here. I got you all written down, and I'm taking bets on who's going first. If you don't want in, that's fine, but looking at your odds, maybe you want to take some bets, make some own money off of it.
All right, sure, I'll bite. Not that I have a lot of money here where I'm at and what's going on.
You'll owe me.
Lovely.
Hey, I work in favors.
All right. I'll talk to him about it.
All right, yeah, he kind of like talks to you a little bit about it, and he's been making a game out of which of the 8 people in this cell block is going to die first.
Mm-hmm.
He has a death pool going. Right now, you get lowest payback on your odds if you bet on Zippo, because he's basically just 1 for 1. Most people have bet on Zippo. But he talks to you for a little bit, and like, let's see if you can read him. Make a pilot check for me.
All right. Read a situation.
Yeah.
23.
23. This is this guy's way of dealing with this. You get a sense that he thinks he is not long for the world. Like, you get a sense talking to him that he thinks his life is over, basically. You get him to pry open a little bit more. And this is a guy who really was just caught up in things. He wasn't overtly a rebel, but he had friends who maybe got themselves into trouble. And he wasn't willing to turn over his friends. And this guy thinks he's ruined his life because of it. He starts getting into like how when he gets out of here, he doesn't know what he can do anymore and things like that. That's what you get out of Cup over this conversation.
Okay. I'll try to encourage him and tell him like there's things that we can do. There's things that we can still fight for, and until you're dead kind of thing.
Yeah.
Starting out subtly as first, but just kind of easing into the conversation more until we just have that moment.
And by the time you're done and actually go to turn in for the night, you think out of the corner of your eye, you see that Parvin was listening in on this conversation. What do you think happens next?
I'll ask Parvin after that who he has bet on.
Parvin smiles. Myself.
Those are losing odds, friend.
Someone can collect it. I won't need it once I'm gone. Plus, I don't know if Cup will honor those bets.
Well, I don't think that's the point anyways.
Never was. Can't you just get off of here? Don't you got stuff going on somewhere else after all this? Once they let you out, you're not from here.
I don't know. Maybe. What are we, about a weekend or something?
Yeah, you're about a weekend at this point.
Right. I'd say like a week ago, it's probably what I would have tried to do. Maybe gotten into debt to get off this station and tried to get back home, but I'm starting to feel like I can't leave without doing something.
It's a fool's bet. Almost as bad as betting on yourself.
Pipe dream, I guess, but yeah. Anyways, I'll just turn over and go to sleep.
Next couple of days go fairly without incident. What do you want the next attempt Steve makes here to be? Lots of situations happen over the course of these days. If it's plausible, it probably happens.
I'm trying to think of a good situation.
Over these times, like, people start getting a little bit more talkative during meal times. At night, Cup knows he can talk to you now. Some of the other inmates, people know they can chat a little bit after lights out. It is reasonable to assume that you've become part of this little enclave of people who all got put in this block at around the same time as each other.
All right. Well, with that, then, I'm just going to try to get, without being overt about it, just any and all information I can that they would discuss somewhat openly, or just at least behind the backs of guards kind of thing. Whether it's information about people that I could either get more in with, or if it's something, more drastic, like rebel information or something,
Okay. I will let you do this. Mm-hmm. I need to know what skill trigger you're taking this for.
Word on the street.
Absolutely. Let's roll it.
22. That's nice. A nat 20.
You get people who are probably in here because they were sympathizers, kind of doing the same thing for you think they got in trouble for in the first place, because they can't really change who they are, you know? They see you in a bad place, they hear through the grapevine, you know, Cup talks, he runs his mouth, right? You talk to him a little bit, Cup starts talking to other people about you, you know? And they know, like, according to your story, you're in a bad place. They start talking about, like, hey, you know, if you're stuck here, I know some people who got a flop house who don't ask too many questions. You start getting word on, like, you know, you can't get job with corporate once you have a record, but I know some guy who needs to move some stuff sometimes. It's not, you know, consistent work, but hey, maybe you'll be able to buy food, you know? They start loosening up to give you, like, what they would give a neighbor. You know, they start giving you what they think a resident, you know, like a local would need to get by.
Perfect, right? That's exactly what I want. So
yeah, that's what you get. These people start softening towards you. Okay. And you think it's largely because it seems like Parvin respects you. It seems like Cup talks about you, and you tried to stick up for Zippo. You know, like, you don't feel like an outsider to these people anymore. The next day, you're brought back in for a conversation. The warden meets you there. Well, you've had about a week and a half now. Your sentence is almost up. What do you have for me?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I have inroads. There's no hard evidence or concrete anything. And frankly, even if I did have that, I would say you shouldn't squander it on taking out any of the inmates here, because they're now useful to me.
Nosla said that this might be the case, so I can't be too disappointed, but I was hoping for a win of some sort. They're stupid people, the people from here. I'm surprised one didn't blab about one of their bases or a bolt hole that we could rumble.
I understand. And I don't mean disrespect by this, but we're in for a war, not a battle. Getting a base location doesn't change anything. If I can get truly in with them, and unfortunately outside your area of expertise here, it could mean a lot more for Nosla and what she's looking at.
Plans within plans, wheels within wheels. Such is the way.
No, we did good here, though.
Well, if you're happy, I will pass along that information to Nosla. She'll be happy to hear that you think you're succeeding. She did want me to make sure you understood that we need a win. So start working on getting us information we can use.
I don't think she even expected it within a week.
She understands that you may need to get out and talk with others before you can operate more freely. We thought some of them might clam up well in here. But if you're in a good position, that's all I can ask for. I've done my job.
Yeah. Hey, next time we meet like this, do you think, like, a steak or bread that isn't hard, you know?
He smiles at you and goes,
maybe a cup of coffee?
I want you to look the part.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
All right. Well, no need to rough yourself up this time. Guards always get bored of their toys after a week or two, so it won't be too surprising you're uninjured.
Yippee.
Smiles at you, is like, well, back to your little cage, little mouse.
See you next time, Bert.
I'll see you on your way out of here. You don't have too much longer left. We always need to do exit interviews.
I'm sure.
He smiles and goes, don't blow off the exit interview. Sometimes you do so well on the exit interview, you win a longer stay. He will stand up, click his remote. You know that he has turned back off whatever monitoring dampening he's been using, which is what you assume he's been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
And he'll hand you back to Azure to take you back to your cell.
Lovely.
The next big thing here comes as kind of a surprise to you. And it is the day before Parvin is getting ready to be released. Hey, Steve. Got a second?
I'm actually really busy right now.
Hey, fuck you. He rolls up onto his, he was laying down, he rolls up to a seated position and turns to look at you. There's a seriousness in his eyes that you haven't really seen while in here. I gotta ask you a question.
If it's my hair care routine, it's not gonna help you much.
Yeah. Listen, I heard the others talking to you, giving you some advice here and there, but, you used to be a pilot, right? You said your team were real good?
I didn't used to be anything. I was an amazing pilot. Am an amazing pilot.
Yeah. Well, good. Glad you still feel confident in your skills. Listen, I haven't really done my part, to help you out like the others have. So, listen, there's this church. Listen, I know. Don't cut the religious fella, but just listen, okay? There's this church I go to. A lot of my friends go there too. Got a preacher there. Real friendly. Cares about people. You get it?
Sure. Few and far between out here, I imagine.
Listen, after you get out of here, if you need somewhere to go, and you know how to take care of yourself, know how to lift yourself up, I can get you in touch with them. Tell you where to find them.
Damn.
But they need people who know how to improve themselves, know how to take care of themselves and maybe help take care of others. We got enough people feeding from the communal pile. We need some people around here who can contribute to it, if you get my drift.
You just kind of ruined everything. I have been trying for the last few days to figure out how to ask you for help, and you just came and gave it to me.
He smiles a little embarrassed, right? Don't think I'm getting soft, It's just, you seem like you're down on your luck, Mr. Unlucky, and I figured, when I felt like I was Mr. Unlucky, these people helped.
I wager I got a couple more days after you, but you're going to need that long to talk about how great I am to everyone when I show up.
Maybe they'll hear that maybe you weren't an asshole, but keep talking. We'll see if that changes.
It's probably best if I stop.
He smiles and nods. So listen.
Hey, yeah.
There's this church, like I said. He gives you an address that doesn't make a lot of sense to you now because you're not accustomed to how to get around these stations. It's like, just remember it. Once you're out of here, you'll be able to find it, okay? You want to meet with a nice old lady named Tabitha. She takes care of people. And if you got the strong back for it, she can help you take care of others too.
Thanks. I mean that.
You got it. Don't get too sappy on me. I'm leaving tomorrow, and I want to kiss this place goodbye and say fuck you to everyone in it.
Well, I generously accept your fuck you when you leave.
Yeah. Anything else you need here, Steve?
No, I think my mission is a success, so I think that's it.
The next day comes. Parvin is released. He makes good on his promise and tells everyone in the cell to fuck off. He is led out of the cell by the warden. And he doesn't come back. So you hope that means he's out there somewhere. But it's not like the guards are going to tell you. In another day, you get another cellmate. This one ain't looking to make friends. If Parvin was standoffish, this guy, I'm sure, if he had the ability to, would probably be drinking himself to death. He's sullen. He doesn't want to talk to you. He doesn't want to talk to any of the other inmates. But that's how you got to stick it out with for the last couple of days. Eventually, you see Cup and even Zippo get out of here. You don't know where they're going or what they're doing. And it's not like the guards are going to tell you. But eventually, the end of your 2 weeks comes. It was rough, but you didn't have to get beat up all the time. You made it through and got some information. The warden comes to get you. Takes you for your exit interview. Dampens the monitoring in the room. And talks to you seriously. All right. You're getting out of here today. Do you have a place to go?
I think so, yes.
Good. We don't want to burn any of our resources. If you can provide for yourself, you should do so. It'll also make it easier to disavow you.
Yeah, I got you. I will be handing off information as needed. I appreciate your willingness to work with us.
Before you leave, a few of the dead drop locations have changed. I need to give you some new ones. This may happen from time to time, so make sure to inspect your work. We don't want you getting sloppy and losing us, any of our locations.
Well, this guy keeps things close to the chest, but do I believe him? Seems...
Make a check.
Off. I mean, just read a situation, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. Subtext motives or threats.
13.
You read him, and he is not trying to trick you. He looks frustrated, as if other operatives have fucked up recently. And that might be something you want to know leaving here, is that there are other people out there working secretly that may have screwed the pooch recently, such that they've had to change some of their dead drop locations. It seems like he, in his fastidious nature, is basically telling you, is like, these things changed. Don't make more work for us.
Okay. I'll ask him, are there any other names I need to keep in mind that I will run across?
Not that we're aware of. We have some people doing some plainclothes monitoring, but it seems they weren't inconspicuous enough. And some spots where we had dropped off some data have been staked out. We don't feel confident leaving things there anymore under the risk of them being picked up by the unsavory sort.
Understood.
So, some of the ones you were given are still perfectly usable, but he lists off a few, like, behind this bench, or, near the entrance sign to this dilapidated factory and stuff like that. It's like, don't use those anymore, And he gives you a couple replacement ones.
Okay.
All right. He goes and knocks on the door, and a box of objects is brought in. Your personal effects that you left on your way in. Azure leaves them on the table and leaves. And the warden goes, I'll give you a moment to change and grab your items, and I'll be back to escort you out.
All right. I don't suppose I can be in a room alone with that guy. You know what? Never mind. I'll just...
The warden smiles and goes, oh, he's trash. Just be assured that we don't care for him much either.
Lovely.
He will leave, lock the door behind him, and you have time to, collect your personal effects and clothing.
I just think about what it means for the guard. I wonder what's going to happen to him. He's probably not going to be around much longer.
You get your stuff together. The warden comes back in. It's like, all right, time for you to leave. And if you make any more trouble for us, it won't be a stay that you're given.
No, sir.
All right,
I'm on the
let's
up and
get
up.
going. Azure, escort our guest out of my facility, please. Azure kind of nods to him, does the same thing, steps behind you, kind of pushes you through the hallways. You get to the front door. It is, just it is just the warden and Azure. They kind of assume that you're not going to cause any trouble leaving because you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they take you to the front door. They throw you out, and then the door closes behind you. Security class on the door means that as soon as it closes, that world is gone. You can't see anything on the other side of it, and you're just left alone on E2705 with only the objects you had in that meeting with you. You can't really contact the DBC, and you have a few leads to follow. That's where we'll pick up with next session.
I've got some praying to do at a church.
Everyone's in a good situation.
Yeah.
Watch it's not any coded message he was telling you. He just really likes this church. He's a religious guy.
Mm-hmm.
He found religion while in prison.
Yeah, found Jesus.
Space Jesus?
Obviously.
What other kind of Jesus is there?
But very good. Very good going there, Jay. I was a bit nervous about having you split off from the other rest of the team, but I think you did admirably in getting information there.
Yeah. Never split the party, right?
Yeah. The next time we pick up, we'll find out what Ethic is going to have the DBC, the rest of the DBC crew, start doing to look into things around E2705. And then we'll see what Steve is able to rummage up with the new leads he got while he was in prison. Thank you very much for following us through this, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.